Hey, what's up everyone, it's your girl Brain Sinead, and today I'll be sharing with you my February TBR, so please stay tuned. Hey, what's up everyone? So like I said, I'm gonna be sharing with you my February TBR. I know it's a little bit late, but you know, I might as well still share it with you all. So this is literally pretty much, this is an ambitious TBR for February. Do not get me wrong. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but hopefully I can read all these books because they're all amazing. Or some of them I heard are amazing. I haven't read them yet. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So one of the books I'll be reading is Wild Seed. This is by Octavia E. Butler. This is a book that I'm reading because Bree from Bree Reads, she is doing an Octavia E. Butler read along this year. And you know, of course, I'm going to be reading these books. I've always wanted to read Octavia E. Butler, and Bree Reads is doing it this year, so why not? So this is the first book in the series. This is called Wild Seed, like I said. And for the synopsis, which I found so interesting, it says, Doro knows no higher authority than himself, an ancient spirit with boundless powers. He possesses humans, killing without remorse as he jumps from body to body to sustain his own life. With a lonely eternity ahead of him, Doro breeds supernaturally gifted humans into empires that obey his every desire. He fears no one until he meets Anyawu. Anyawu is an entity like Doro and yet different. She can heal with a bite and transform her own body, mending injuries and reversing aging. She uses her powers to cure her neighbors and birth entire tribes, surrounding herself with kindred who both fear and respect her. No one poses a true threat to Anyawu until she meets Doro. The moment Doro meets Anyawu, he covets her, and from the villages of 17th century Nigeria to 19th century United States, their courtship becomes a power struggle that echoes through generations, irrevocably changing what it means to be human. So I'm looking forward to reading this. And then not only am I reading the first book of the series, I'm going to be reading the second book, which is Mind of My Mind. And I'm like I said, this is a continuation, and I'm really looking forward to reading both of these books. They sound amazing, and I can't wait to have these, you know, to tune in with the discussions about this series. So yep, I'll be reading both of these this month. And then the next book that I'm going to be reading this month is pretty much, if you don't know, I will leave my link up above, but Bree and I from Bree Reads, we are doing the Zora Neale Hurston read along this year. We did a Brandon Sanderson read along last year, and so this year it's Zora Neale Hurston, y'all. So the first book that we are going to be reading is Mulebone. It's a comedy of Negro life, and here it is right here. This is just reading the synopsis alone sounds amazing, and I just love the book overall. So for this book, it says, Mulebone remains an incomparable contribution to Black theater and the sole collaboration between two iconic figures of the Harlem Renaissance, Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes. Set in Hurston's hometown of Eatonville, Florida, this uproarious play centers on song and dance team Jim and Dave and Daisy, the woman who comes between the two. Enraged and jealous, Jim hits Dave with a mulebone. This act divides the town into two factions, the Methodists who wish to grant Jim clemency and the Baptists who seek to exile him for his crime. Mulebone was performed in 1991 at New York's Lincoln Center Theater. So yes, this is the first book we're reading for the Zora Neale Hurston read along. I'm really excited to start reading this and have this discussion later on towards the end of the month. So yeah, if you want to join us, please do so. But yes, this is the first book that we're going to be reading, and I'm just excited for it. Now for this next book, I'm really excited to finish it. I started this book last year and I just didn't finish it, and I definitely want to, probably what I want to do is just start all over and read it, because I really just want to dive in this completely all over again, and I'm just excited for it. And that is going to be Finding Me by Viola Davis, which I'm sure y'all all know. She won an award for this book, and she officially she got EGOT, you know? Like, I'm just amazing. Like, she literally got an Emmy, she got a Grammy, she got an Oscar, and now she got a Tony. Like, she's killing it. So I'm really excited to dip back into this and read her story. I'm just really excited to read this. So this is another book that I'll be reading, and also this is going to be my nonfiction book for the month. That is a goal that I'm going to be doing this year, is to read at least one nonfiction each month, and here is the book that I'm going to be reading for nonfiction. So here is this. The next book, I just want to finish the series because I want to know what happens. This is the last book in the series, so I'm excited for it, and that is Kingdom of the Feared, and this is by Carrie Maniscalco. I loved the first two books. I found them really fascinating, so I'm really interested to know what happens in this book. And so I'm not even going to read the synopsis because I want to be completely surprised. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to stepping back into this world and to finally finish this series. And then who knows, I'm sure Carrie Maniscalco has something else for us, which I've heard. So I've seen some like her stuff on IG about something dabbling back into this particular world, but not with the same characters. So I'm excited about that. So this is another book that I'll be reading in February. This next book is a series that I just wanted to start this year, and you know, I figured I might as well start in February, and that is going to be The Assassin's Blade, and that is by Sarah J. Maas. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I believe this is the first book in the series, so I think so. Yeah, so I'm assuming this is the first book. So this is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, and I don't know, I've been always curious about this series. I've read everything else. I might as well read this because I know with the adult fantasy books that she has been writing, especially with The House of Sky and Breath and what have you, all the worlds intertwine with one another. And I feel like I'm missing out with this series because I don't know a lot about these characters. So I'm really excited to read this and to get to know all these new characters. So I'm going to be reading this. And then for my book club pick, which I have a membership, if you want to join, go ahead and join. Each month we read a particular book. So this month we are reading Nightcrawling by Layla Motley. And then in March, we're going to be reading Babel. So I'm really excited for this particular book. I've heard a lot of great things about it. And of course, it was Oprah's book club pick last year. So it just sounds really interesting. So let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this one. So it says, a dazzling novel about a young Black woman who walks the streets of Oakland, a debut that announces a blazingly original voice. It says, Kiara and her brother Marcus are scraping by in an East Oakland apartment complex optimistically called the Regal High. Both have dropped out of high school, their family fractured by death and prison. But while Marcus clings to his dream of rap stardom, Kiara hunts for work to pay their rent, which has more than doubled, and to keep the 9-year-old boy next door, abandoned by his mother, safe and fed. One night, what begins as a drunken misunderstanding with a stranger turns into the job Kiara never imagined wanting, but now desperately needs: night crawling. Her world breaks open even further when her name surfaces in an investigation that exposes her as a key witness in a massive scandal within the Oakland Police Department. Rich with raw beauty, electrifying intensity, and piercing vulnerability, Nightcrawling marks the stunning arrival of a voice unlike any we have heard before. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. Like I said, I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I can't wait to have our discussion closer to the beginning of next month, which is how we have our discussions. I give you that extra week just in case you need to catch up or if you need to read it. So yeah, really looking forward to having a discussion about this book. Next one, I've been wanting to read this. This is Talia Hibbert's YA book that just came out this year, and I'm curious to see what this book is about, and that is Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, which I haven't heard a lot of things about this book. I've seen some booktubers have it on their list, or they have read it already. So I'm really interested to see what Talia has in store for us when it comes to this book. So it just sounds like it'd be a good time. And it just sounds amazing. He says, welcome to Joy Revolution, a new imprint focused on love stories starring and authored by people of color, which it says on the back of here. It just sounds like it'd be fun. So I'm like, the cover is already intriguing. Apparently they're definitely on like some type of camping trip or somewhere in, you know, out in the wilderness together. So I think this is going to be an interesting and fun read. So I cannot wait to start reading this. And then this next book, I am reading the Witcher series this year. I read The Last Wish last month, and so this month I'm going to be reading Sword of Destiny. And I just love this illustrated edition. It's so beautiful. As you can see, this is Yennefer, and I'm in love with it. it's just beautiful. Like if you look at some of the artwork, it's just fantastic. It's so beautiful. So this is the next book that I'm gonna be reading in the Witcher series, and I look forward to reading. Like we heard about Geralt from The Last Wish, and now I'm sure this is gonna be more about Yennefer particularly. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one this month. And then I've already read this book already, so you can already check out my review for it, but it's going to be what I read so far this year in February. I said this month is The Promised Boys by Nick Brooks. I absolutely fell in love with it. Definitely check out my book review if you haven't done so. I highly recommend it. And as you can see, I tabbed it up just a little bit. But yeah, loved it. So you should definitely check it out. Next book, which I was supposed to read in January, but never got to it. So it's now trickling into February, and that is The Priory of the Orange Tree. This is by Samantha Shannon. I've heard people love this book. Some people hated it, and I'm going to see if I love it or hate it. You know, I want to form my own opinion about this particular book. And yes, it is chunky. It is chunky, but it's okay. I've read a lot bigger books than this. Hence the Brandon Sanderson read along that Bree and I had done last year, and his books were like 1,200 pages or whatever. So yeah, this is nothing compared to Brandon Sanderson, so I should be able to get through this you know, with no problems. So definitely looking forward to reading this. I've heard there's not a lot of dragons in it as you would depict from the cover, but that's okay. I'm just interested. I want to, you know, I like fantasy. I like dabbing into different worlds, and so it might be a fun time. So this is a book that I'll be reading in February. Next book, this is part of Gabby's read along from The Curious Owl, and she is doing a N.K. Jemisin read along this year. So last month we started the 5th season, so of course the second book that we're reading for February is The Obelisk Gate. This is I tabbed this previous to the year. The last time I read this was in 2021, and so as you can see, this is all tabbed up from that year. So there'll probably be some more tabs later on once I read this, and I'm just looking forward to the discussion for the 5th season, and then for this book as well, closer to the end of February. So if y'all aren't following Gabby from The Curious Owl, I suggest you do so. I'll leave her link down below in the description, and also if you're not following Bree from Bree Sure Reads, I'll leave her link down below in the description as well, because she is, you know, like I said, Bree and I are doing a read along for Zora Neale Hurston, and she's also doing a read along herself for Octavia E. Butler. So definitely check it out and don't miss it. Next one, I read The Prison Healer, which was the first book in this series, and it made me want to know more. Like how the book ended, I'm like, wait, what? You were her this entire time? Like, so I definitely want to continue with it, and I absolutely liked it more than I thought I would. So I'm happy. I'm happy. So the next book in the series is The Gilded Cage, and this is by Lynette Noni. And yeah, I really want to get into the world again and get to, you know, see what happens with Kiva and the prince and what goes on from there and what have you. So really looking forward to reading this. And for the synopsis, it says, Kiva Mandarin is a survivor. She survived not only Zalendorf prison, but also the deadly trial by ordeal. Now Kiva's purpose goes beyond survival to vengeance. For the past 10 years, her only goal was to reunite with her family and destroy the people responsible for ruining their lives. But now that she has escaped Zalendorf, her mission has become more complicated than ever. As Kiva settles into her new life in the capital, she discovers she wasn't the only one who suffered while she was in Zalendorf. Her siblings and their beliefs have changed too. Soon it's not just her enemies she's keeping secrets from, but her own family as well. Outside the city walls, tensions are brewing from the rebels, along with whispers of a growing threat from the northern kingdoms. Kiva's allegiances are more important than ever, but she's beginning to question where they truly lie. To survive this time, she'll have to navigate a complicated web of lies before both sides of the battle turn against her and she loses everything. So this sounds really good, and I'm excited for it. I'm ready. And then last but not least, there's one more book that I'm going to be reading this month, and this is the one of the group reads for the Missy Elliott Readathon, which the creator is Shay from Shay with the Hobbies, which I'll leave her link down below in the description. This is the second year of the Missy Elliott Readathon, and I'm just excited, and just happy about it, and that it's doing its thing, and I'm here for it. And so the group book that I'm going to be reading for the Missy Elliott Readathon is Africa Risen. And I've always wanted to read this book, but never got a chance to, and this right here is the perfect time to do so. As you can see, I love the cover. It's beautiful. I know there's a lot of stories within this, a lot of fantasy and stuff, which I am here for. I am here for it, and I am ready. So yeah, so this is another book that I'm going to be reading, and this is the last book that I'm going to be reading, hopefully in February. But that is it. These are all the books that I'm going to be reading in February. Like I said, it's very ambitious, and I'm hoping that I can get through all of them, at least majority of it, which I feel like I can. So yeah.
Also, wait, rewind. There's one more book that I actually already finished this month.
And there's going to be a book review for, which y'all gotta stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss that notification. But this other book I've already read already this month, and that is The Davenports by Crystal Marquis. I'm not going to say more because you're going to have to wait for the review, you guys. But yeah, this is another book that was on my TBR for February, which I already read. Now that's it. That's completely all the books. I'm officially done. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you all for watching, and you all be careful, stay safe, and stay healthy. See ya.